through my old hood, but I'm in my new whip. Same old attitude, but I'm on that new stuff. They say they gon' ride me, see me never do, cause they know that's the reason they gon' end up on the news clip. Audemars on my wrist, bust down. We popping bottles like I scored a winning touchdown. Remember me dead broke, look at me up now. I run my city from South Philly back to Uptown. Thank God all these bottles I pop, all this paper I've been getting, all these bottles I pop. I done sold $100,000 before my album got dropped, and I'm only 23. Understand that? Look at me, I'm a boss. Like
America.
Shorty asked me for a check, I told that like no way, cause I made
It's
it from
me.
the bottom, it was never no way, and I never had a job, you know I had to sell, yeah. I'm a boss, I call a shit.
Hello, America. It's me, Mr. President, Mishmuba 13. As you know, I will be debating both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in this debate. As you are well aware, I am, surprise, it's me. It's me. That's me. I'm the president. I am the rat who makes all of the rules. Right now, I am joined by... Hello, Trey.
Hi, Mr. President.
I'm Mr. President. How does it feel to be talking to the future president?
Well, aren't you the president now?
I am the president now, but I will also be the future president. And then the president
term are
after
you on?
that. I'm on my 8th.
8th term.
I'm impressive, I know. The longest time
that's
anyone's
32
been
years.
president. Yeah. No, it's been exhausting, but I've loved it. I've loved every single minute of it.
Seem to still have your hair.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good. You have a
I
costume?
get paranoid that I'm losing it a bit. No, but for
I can
real.
only hear you right now, so that was a really funny sound.
But for real, we're gonna be watching the debate. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Oh, as always, I am joined by my Let me introduce my future vice president. Come on in, introduce yourself.
Oh,
Hi.
oh,
I'm Jeb Bush, the Jebiest
hi.
Jebbers.
Mr. Bush.
I'm gonna Jeb all over the place.
You gonna
Fuck.
wait? Are you voicing him,
Please.
Simon, or
Clap.
is he gonna talk, or are we just gonna stare into each other's eyes here?
He doesn't say a lot.
Yeah, I could tell.
He doesn't say a lot at all.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, he's gone. That's all he needed to say.
All you need is his
That's all
hand
he needed to
poking out
say.
from the corner.
You promoted me in your server? What the fuck? Pardon. Oh, wow. Alright, so what we're actually gonna do, chat, is we're gonna watch the debate. Oh, wrong screen. Let me actually tune it into the debate. We're gonna be watching the debate, and I will pull up this menu along with a bingo card that we're gonna be doing. I found it on some website, and we're gonna be checking it. We'll see if we can get a bingo. We'll most likely absolutely get a bingo. Let's see if we can more so focus on filling up the entire square. Do you think we can do it? I think we can do it. I think it's possible, Chad. Do you think it's possible? I think so. In my humble opinion. What about you, Trey? Do you think we'll...
Let me look at this. January 6th will come up. Hunter Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Brat campaign, that you will not get. I'm sorry, that will not come up. If that comes up, that's really bad. I think you could get a
Maybe.
couple bingos, but I don't know if you could fill up the whole thing.
I mean,
you
that's
should
what
prove
we're.
me wrong. You should prove me wrong.
I'm not trying to prove anything here. I think there's two other people here who have a lot to prove, and we'll just see. We'll see. You can't
Who are you
see
talking
either
about?
of the Chesneys
Might I add?
coming up. We'll see. Who am I talking about? Talking
Yeah.
about Jeb and Jeb, of course. Come on now. Come on now.
Mm.
Tune it back into this because we don't need to be watching anything. They're just doing some. I mean, we'll tune in.
You're
maybe a
gonna
little
skip Chris Kornacki doing the statistics.
bit. You know what?
That's his name.
Let's watch this. Let's watch the statistics.
The source of the single
Let's watch the
biggest
statistics.
polling miss in 2020.
Damn.
It had Joe Biden.
Oh,
ahead,
Harris is
nearly 10
washing.
points on average. He won the state
Ooh,
by
wait,
less than
Arizona-
1 point. The
oh.
polling here was way off
Yeah,
in
get
2016 as
fucked,
well.
man.
There was a pretty big miss in Michigan too. States with large blue
Let me
collar
open up
white
the chat on
populations
my
where Trump has
phone.
run up very big numbers. The
Simon, would
polls
you be able to
didn't sufficiently
stream this in
capture that
Discord too, or is
16
that
and
not?
20.
Yes, I
Is
can
that gonna be
screen share it in
different in
Discord.
2024,
Yes,
or
absolutely.
Because it's gonna
Will
be
Trump
it's gonna be delayed a
support
little
No,
bit.
I
Across the
get
poll. It's a
ya.
major
I get
question
ya.
to think about as you see more numbers come out. And
Is
then
that
you see
working
this
for ya?
column right here,
Okay, awesome.
the
Yes,
electoral
thank you.
votes.
Perfect.
Again, 7 core battleground states. Where's tonight's debate? It is in the state that is first among equals.
You think
when it
someone's
comes to
gonna come in
battleground
with the
states.
steel
19
chair
electoral
today?
votes in Pennsylvania.
Fuck!
More than any
keep
other.
dropping my
As
phone.
long as that
Chair?
remain
The
The
functional,
steel
if you're
chair.
one of
You
these
know,
campaigns
I'm really
and
looking
you
for
lose
something.
Pennsylvania,
I'm hoping for
mathematically,
something really
if you wanna
unexpected.
offset
Can
that,
you
you
shut
gotta
up?
win at least 2 others to make up for the 19 that you're.
I want him to shut up. What do you? What's like the craziest thing that could happen?
A fly lands on one of them.
Like last time. Oh my god, that was the funniest shit.
Dick Cheney endorsed a Democrat. Is this factual?
When pigs fly.
Well, I guess it's real.
Oh no, it's real. Why did
And
the
then-
stream
and Joe-
freeze?
And Joe
Yeah.
Biden said he was going to do 9/11 today, which is really cool.
That is super
Um,
cool. That's really cool of him to do
He did,
9/11.
he did say that.
Here, let's make my
Oh
camera
my god.
a little bit bigger.
Huh? Oh, we have a new
We have a new-
debater in the call here.
A mass debater. Who do we got? in
I
the
think
call?
I should be breastfed now.
Right now
Oh
at
my-
this moment. Wow. I don't think
I'll
that's
debate
happening.
that.
What about
Yeah, go ahead
I'll
and
debate-
debate that.
I don't think that's right. What you just said. I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's okay.
All right, now this is how a debate works, Matt. You have to say, "Fuck you,
Nuh-uh.
dirty guy," or "Nuh-uh."
no?
I'm gonna put. I'm also gonna go ahead and put a copy of the bingo board in the Discord chat for us because there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot going on. I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep up
You
with
can
it
put it
all.
up on the screen too. I think.
I'll put it up on the screen. It's just gonna be a bit large. I can make it small. How's that look? What if I put it like directly in the middle? That looks kind of annoying, doesn't it, chat? I don't know. Graphic design has never been my passion.
Maybe bottom right.
Bottom
Where you
right?
could block out all that counter bullshit. You know, the graphic.
Yeah. We could do
You don't
that.
need that.
We don't need
You don't
that.
need all that.
The credit
is
to
not-
we
that
have a
is- yeah.
fourth debate. Hello, Joe. How it going?
Hello.
The most politically educated and literate person. We needed a balance.
Thank you. I will use my 1/4 of a college degree to guide you through the bottom of this.
Well, Joe, I
With-
put
with
in chat.
your 1/4 and my 3/4, we can have one full degree.
That's crazy. dude.
Perfect.
We're basically Harvard graduates, so don't even worry about it.
That's right. My semester.
Is the stream frozen?
Is the stream frozen?
No.
I'm just looking at a
Oh,
picture
the
of
media. The media is frozen. Hold on, my bad, y'all.
Oh, there they go.
Let me
Yeah,
let me
the
play.
stream, the live stream is not frozen, but Simon's Discord stream was
It's playing
paused.
again. It's because I had a different tab open.
But now it's not live, so which means we're gonna be a little bit behind if you do say so.
No, it's
myself.
live. The
We're gonna
live
be
button is
behind.
on.
I can't.
See, because if I press that button and then press the live
I'm not
button,
getting
we're back.
audio.
Well, because it's
Yeah, it's
muted.
muted.
On tips, putting up the
Oh, I didn't know that. I just got here.
I'm two steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
Always, dude. This is the greatest social experiment.
Congratulations on losing 250
Was it the
pounds.
greatest
How do you
social
feel?
experiment? Was it?
How was your social experiment?
I don't even.
I'm gonna grab a drink and some popcorn.
Ooh, popcorn sounds good.
I got flaming hot Cheetos.
Thoughts on
I'm
the
ready.
same mic muted rule being present in this debate, Simon? I think it's gonna come in useful. Look, not trying to get
it's gonna be
political.
less funny. It's gonna be less funny, but it'll be a good thing.
It'll be a good thing. How are we sounding, by the way? How are we sounding? I was telling Trey before I started up the stream. I was telling him like all the bits that I want to do during all of this, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, and how many viewers are you gonna get?" And I'm like, 4. All this for 4 viewers.
Yeah, you do it for the love of the craft.
I do it because I love doing it.
You love Minecraft.
I do love Minecraft. I was playing Minecraft earlier today.
I was playing Minecraft earlier today. I'm making a big mountain dwarf kingdom.
Ooh. Our friend Sequoia
Living
was
under
working on like remaking natural disaster survival from Roblox into the game. So there's all kind of crazy command blocks going on. It's really complicated.
It sounds complicated.
I'm gonna mute this stream because this old guy's bugging me. He's got big ears. I want to pull on him.
What do you
What's Jack?
what is big ears, dude? What do you ever do? What do you do to deserve that?
I don't know. Look,
Why
I'm
are you
just
making observations?
I'm just saying, hey, look, everyone loves to make observations about me, and you're one to talk.
That's right.
I can't believe you do this all for me. So sweet of you. I do it all for you, my lone viewer. My lone viewer. Hey, I sent the link to Ash.
I was actually gonna play Minecraft while we watch this stream, but my only Minecraft world right now is uploaded to my realm, and I don't want to fuck up your internet.
Yeah.
And I'm a good guy like that.
You're a good guy. You're like Superman.
I'm a
in
good
that
guy
way.
for letting you use up that internet.
You're like Superman in that
Good
way.
man. I'm like Superman in that way.
Exactly. Matt, how are you doing
Eventually,
today? Huh?
Oh, never.
What?
What were you gonna say, Joseph?
I don't even remember.
I've also got a menu. Here, I've got a menu on here for if I want to debate someone.
What?
I've just got my face on the right side of the screen, and I'll just turn around all confused like Biden. He's like,
I didn't realize you're wearing a suit. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm wearing a
I didn't
suit
know
and
you
tie.
dressed up for this shit.
Nah, I'm wearing a suit and tie for this. It's a special occasion. This is the future of our country, Matthew. God!
Yeah.
How many times do I
take
gotta
this
get it through your
serious.
skull? This is a serious thing.
Alright, no mucking around.
No more mucking around these parts.
You're like One Piece, honestly.
This is not like One Piece.
This
This
like
is-
One Piece.
Listen, whoever wins this debate gets the One Piece.
Yeah.
That's great.
Whoever wins the debate gets to be king of the pirates.
They are filming this. They are filming this debate on the Grand Line. Whoever wins becomes king of the pirates.
I was
How well?
telling Matt that I was
Exactly.
about to stream, and he's like, "One more One Piece episode." I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me."
I just finished.
You're-
I just started Wano.
That's the long one, right?
I have the long one. I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
I'm almost on the catching up. I'm almost
Jesus.
done catching up.
Bro's almost done catching up. I gotta loosen this tie. I'm gonna unbutton this shirt.
You're
Shit, man.
getting a little, ooh, getting a little sensual in here.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Oh my god. Do we have any predictions on what's gonna happen at least?
On what's gonna happen?
I think at one point, this is one prediction I have. At some point, either Trump is going to refer to Kamala, or like in a deluded old man state, refer to Biden as if he's debating Biden. You're like, Biden didn't want this, all right? Biden won't get you this.
That's good. He might. That's a good. Chad says, "Remember Hillary Clinton?" No, I don't know who that is.
I don't even know.
I couldn't. Who?
You talking about the first lady?
Because you'd be in jail.
Oh man.
Man. Yeah. This
Is that a good
exciting. This is
spot?
exciting.
Chad, is that a good spot for the bingo card? By the way, just kind of here, in the corner.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's okay. What are you gonna use to fill up the spots?
Oh well, I have it in a new window, of course. Because I'm 2 steps ahead, I can just do this. I want to hold on. I want to make it to a red brush. Fuck off. Like that. Like that, of course. Can this thing play? Thank you.
That worked.
Chat, I have a name. Ava! Okay. I want to talk to the chat like there's a million people here, and I can't, I guess, apparently. I'm not one of the biggest streamers, you know. Hassan's probably doing this exact same thing, and he's gonna get like 50,000 viewers. Oh, because he's hotter than me. He's strong. He's buffer than me.
Hassan's doing it, but he's not even like making political commentary. It's just like 1/3 of the screen is the debate, and then Hassan like blue stealing into the camera.
Exactly.
Critical is probably gonna.
Listen, all the
maybe not.
intellectuals.
I know
will
Connor
come
is.
to our stream, okay?
Connor streaming it.
I mean, I don't know, because Trey's here. They probably get scared by him.
Oh. Oh.
Trey is
I
terrifying.
got some
I don't blame
I got
him.
some popcorn, and I have 3 dates right here on this plate.
Oh.
But you're married.
Wow.
And I'm gonna eat a date every time I feel like I need a bit more sweetness in my life, because I know this is gonna destroy me.
Breaking news: Trey Cardi rushed to the hospital for date poisoning.
Date poisoning? I didn't think you know you could get.
Date overdose.
Yeah, overdose.
I'm taking an anxiety med, to be honest.
That's fair. That's pretty fair. Chat, if you need to, find a way to unwind, because this shit's gonna get stressful. Why is the most low quality JPEG of a
Try to find a way
woman
to
on my
unwind,
screen?
won't you?
Yeah.
I'm the biggest Young Schmoobin fan, but Lady Bird, I don't know, it's not my thing.
Damn, that's real. Wow. He keeps saying he's gonna make new music and he hasn't. Where's the tape? Lady Bird, where's the tape?
Lady Bird, where is the fuck, I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
What are you thinking of?
My like stupid Chungus life or something.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought that was the name of the tape you were making.
What?
I'm
what
pretty-
world?
I'm close. Am I
No,
close?
you're not close.
Simon, I'm so ready for your new Chungus drop, dude. Have you been keeping this for me?
I'm
You been
not.
keeping this for me?
Oh, did y'all hear that Dave
Holy
Grohl
shit.
cheated?
go.
Dave
Yeah.
Grohl cheated.
Why did my goat do that?
Yeah,
Wow.
at his
I'm
big
so
age,
sad.
Oh, Dave
This-
Grohl.
Awful.
Dave
He
Grohl.
couldn't fight off the foo anymore.
He couldn't fight the foo. He had to cheat and have a baby with a different woman. At his
Lester
big
Holt
age.
doing the fucking debate tonight? Is he
I
doing?
want Dave Grohl to show up
Who's
in the
doing-
debate.
That would
Who's
kick
do-
ass.
Who's moderating?
I am. I don't know who's
moderating.
moderating.
I'm
Mods?
looking.
It's in the past. It's been an NBC guy.
No.
It's
But
David
I know
Muir. Oh, it's
ABC.
David Muir
Okay.
and Lindsay Davis. Okay.
Mew?
Huh?
What?
What?
Mew?
Excuse
Huh?
me?
No, not the band Mew or the Pokemon. Okay.
The
I can't believe the
Pokemon.
band is the first thing I thought of. I'm cooked.
This is a good band. They broke up today. Did you see that?
What?
Dude, horrible news. So much horrible news.
So
today.
tragic.
Wait.
Dude, this is the worst day in September, dude.
Dude, don't look up tomorrow's date. Whatever you do, chat, do not look up the date for tomorrow.
Oh God. They're only playing 2 more shows. I'm going to Denmark.
Don't say that, Ewa. Don't say that. I will ban you. I will ban you from this chat.
Oh.
What if who would win in a debate? Kamala
Oh.
Harris or Funny Valentine?
Is Funny
Funny
Valentine
Valentine has
the,
nice hair.
the Chet Baker song?
No, named after the Chet Baker song.
The
It's a-
jazz
It's a
standard?
JoJo reference.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's the president.
I can't believe I said that. Like,
I
unironic.
can't believe I said that. It's a
I
joke.
can't believe it.
It's a JoJo reference. You might not get it.
It's a joke. You
Jesus
might not
Christ,
get
it's
it.
a JoJo's reference. The whole
Is that a-
Bible's JoJo reference.
Yeah.
Unironically, though.
Okay. 5 minutes till showdown. 4.5 minutes.
Showdown.
How much are we planning on talking? Because I don't really want to talk.
You want to
But
observe.
that
Well,
doesn't mean
We could
that
do
doesn't mean that I'm
The-
limiting you.
I'm gonna be in and out. I like
Okay.
I like listening to these things.
Yeah.
We'll like
Okay.
react when it queued
Mhm.
when it's
Yeah.
we'll be like,
If
"Oh, that
I'm
was
doing a
funny."
reaction, I want it to be like somewhat transformative content. I don't want to just sit there in silence and watch it and like farm content. You know what
Well,
I'm
you just
saying?
have to say things, pertinent to the debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
like
course.
the new Lady
I'm
Bird
not-
mixtape.
I'm not as politically informed as I was like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm still excited. I'm still ready.
Yeah.
I had to tell Gage is not watching the debate, and he has like pulling away from politics, and good for him because it is not healthy for his vote.
No, it's not. He's the most doomerest of doomers when it comes to American politics.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Every day at work for a while, he would just like come up to me and like, Joe, I'm so upset about everything, and I'm like, Gage, you just can't let it. You just can't let it take that hold.
Oh.
Poor
More
guy.
Gage lore I needed.
We love
My
you.
brother's
He's
calling
such
me.
a sweetheart.
Oh, your brother's
Gage is
calling
a
you?
sweetheart.
Shoot.
I've been watching a lot of political content lately.
Yeah.
I really hope they're definitely gonna ask Kamala about being transparent about her policies because they're not available on her website. She's been very hush hush about her policies. So I hope tonight's the night she was saving to like say something about it.
I mean,
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot-
curious if it's going to
I
be
think
anything
everybody's
different
getting
from what
into
was on the
this,
Biden campaign.
Mm.
everyone's tuning into this, so like, she's definitely. This would probably be a good time for her to speak up on that.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's just extending out all the stuff that was the same for the Biden campaign,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
we'll see.
that'll probably be right.
Yeah.
I'll be
Imagine
okay.
imagine Brad pops into the stream again.
What?
Imagine he
hap-
does. That happened last stream. Not last stream. Brad showed up.
We were playing Persona, and Brad was just showed
Brad
up.
was
and
in
he
chat
like,
for a little bit. Swear to God,
"Hey."
Wow.
he was cool.
Brad takes some
Yeah.
music.
And now
Brad takes some
Oh,
music.
today
My favorite.
he said it's his
I was
first day at
scared.
rehab.
I was
Oh,
scared.
Then he's not gonna be in this stream.
No, he's not.
unless he's like not doing the rehab correctly.
Yeah.
Well,
All
Do you
right.
think 2
we'll
months
see.
is enough for him?
we'll
Um,
see. We'll see. I'm very I'm very excited to see how it all ends up because he's needed it, So I really want to see the fruits of his labor when he comes out of it. But that's a topic for another day, of course.
I mean, Brad Taste is literally debating Donald Trump today. I mean, it's
Brad Taste
definitely
is debating Donald Trump.
Does this imply that Brad Taste is Kamala Harris?
Also,
I would flippin' think so.
Sequoia wanted to be pinged. Sequoia wanted to be added when hold on.
Let's get Sequoia in here.
They wanted to be added
Kamala's
when
very clearly avoiding Gaza for
people
APAC
started
reasons. She doesn't
talking.
want to get destroyed by Zionist investors, as we've seen happen in local primaries.
But,
As for actual policies on it, I'm worried. It'll probably be the same as Biden. She said the word ceasefire, which is crazy because Biden hasn't. So
Mhm.
that's a step, I guess. I don't know if you were.
She needs to talk about it. She needs to.
But she
talk
also
about it.
like 2 weeks ago said that she's committed to making sure that Israel is the greatest
Joe
army
Biden. Is that
like in the
something
world.
folks will be
So,
watching?
Lovely.
He's now, of course, the older candidate.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
He
here we
said
go.
It's the top of the hour
I'm
now.
dedicated
9
to
o'clock
keeping
today's
America
News
the
New York
strongest
and
army in the world and
Philadelphia,
keeping
the room where it's
Israel
about
the
to happen.
strongest,
We're
most
just
defended
seconds
country
away
in the
now
world.
from tonight's first and perhaps last presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former
last one
Potentially
ever.
last
President.
presidential
It's the
debate
first time
ever.
these candidates have met in person, and it's
This is
happened
the
on a
last chance,
debate stage,
last shot.
also
This is the
first
last
debate
one.
since President Biden left the race over the summer and Harris became the Democratic nominee. A lot has happened in a very compressed
This
period of
isn't
time.
the
Yes, it
candidates.
has, and we have a few moments until the debate starts. We will join it. ABC News is.
I wish
broadcasting it.
Mr.
We
Beat
will
was
simulcast it right here in its
mediating.
entirety. It's taking place at the National
I would
Constitution
love
Center
that.
in
I want him to come
Philadelphia.
back and get a
And like
sandwich.
June's debate, there will
Yeah,
be no
you've met
audience
him.
tonight. The candidates' microphones
met him a
will be
few
muted while the
That's
other
awesome.
one is talking. Each candidate will get 2
Yeah,
minutes
'cause he-
for
'cause
he
introductions,
lives in
closing
town.
The mics-
statements,
the
but
mics
no
are muted.
opening statements. So we expect them to probably mix
Yes.
it up rather early in
Okay,
this
good.
as they stake out their
I
position.
was
to
like
give you a
on
sense of where
Trump
all this is
too,
going.
because like his
And the
whole
mics are
team
muted
wanted
when
him
the other
like
is talking.
muted.
So let's take you to Philadelphia now.
Yeah, he's changed
and
his
the
opinion
first
once.
presidential debate of 2024.
Oh God, we're here.
Good evening, I'm David Muir, and thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential
this guy?
debate. We want to welcome viewers watching on ABC and
Should've
around the
been me.
world tonight. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump are just moments away from taking the stage in this unprecedented race for
Ladies and
president.
gentlemen, the future of our nation.
Could be the most consequential event of their campaigns, with Election Day now less than 2 months away. For Vice President Kamala Harris, this is
Can't
her
wait
first
for the
debate since
memes.
President Biden withdrew
Can't wait
from
for
the
the
race on July 21st. Of course, that decision followed his debate against President Donald Trump in June. Since then, this race has taken on an entirely new dynamic.
And that brings us to the rules of tonight's debate. 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. No topics or questions have been shared with the
Only 2
campaigns.
commercial
The
breaks.
candidates will
Let's
have
go.
2 minutes to
Who
answer
joined up?
questions,
Gage,
and this is
get out of here.
Gage, you don't want to watch it. It's politics.
No, it's me. It's just me. Gage is leaving the room. He's
Oh, okay. Gage is actively leaving the room.
No pre-written
Corey, how are you feeling?
There is no
I'm doing
audience.
okay. Wait,
Hi, Gage.
wait, turn
Hi,
it
Corey.
up the stream volume.
This is an intimate setting for 2 candidates who have never met.
Okay.
President Trump won the
Hey,
coin
Simon.
toss. He
Are
chose
you
the
streaming
final
the debate off your
closing
computer?
statement of the evening.
Yeah,
Vice
I'm
President
streaming it
Harris
off my
selected the
computer, yeah.
podium to the right.
You want to do me a favor
The
and
candidates to the
draw
stage. Vice
available?
President Kamala Harris
Yeah.
and
The
President
captions are
Donald
just a
Trump.
bit.
Delayed.
I don't know. They're delayed a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, it's silent.
It's
It's silent.
Thank you.
He did not want to do that.
Go. If you don't want to watch it, then leave.
Here tonight.
This is powerful.
Okay, I can't stay for long. I do have to go to work
So
early
let's get
tomorrow,
started.
but
I want to
Okay.
begin tonight with the
That's
issue
fine. We're
that
mainly
voters
just gonna be
repeatedly
watching
say
it.
is their
God.
number one issue, and that is the economy and
I'm
the cost of
smiling.
living.
This
she's
is
so
crazy.
pretty.
Vice President Harris, you and President
She is very
Trump
pretty.
4 years ago, and your opponent on the
In
stage
like a
here tonight
mom's
often
way.
asks his
Yeah.
supporters, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?" When it comes to the
Not like a
economy,
MILF
do
way.
you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting
Y'all are
up
also gonna
the
have
middle
to
class
keep
and
track
working
of
people America.
the bingo
I
board.
believe in the
Okay.
ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
Wait,
And
what's
that
the
is
bingo?
why
Can you
I
share
It's in
imagine
chat.
and
It's in
have
chat. It's
actually
in
a
chat.
plan
Oh, okay.
to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people.
Stop. Turn
We
that back
know that
on.
young families need support. support to raise their children, and I intend on extending.
Yo, she's
a
already
tax
kind of
cut
eating him up.
for those families of $6,000.
10
which is
seconds
the
in and
largest
he's washed.
Child tax credit that we have given in a long time,
looks
so that
tired.
those young families can.
He does
afford
look
to buy a
exhausted.
crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes.
He
for
doesn't
their
look as
children.
old as he was.
My passion, one of them, is small businesses.
They probably
It was actually
gave him a
my
shot of
mother
adrenochrome
raised my
before
sister
he
and me,
came in.
but
He
there
looks
was a
so,
woman who
like-
helped raise us. We call her our second.
His
mother.
little
She was a small
his little
business
chin
owner.
flaps
I love
look
our
like they
small
need to be
businesses.
censored. I'm
My plan
sorry.
is to give a $50,000
Like someone put a
tax
censor
credit
bar
to
over there.
God,
start
Simon,
small
so out of
businesses,
pocket.
knowing they are part of the
That's
backbone of America's
crazy.
economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent
That's
has
bad.
a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you
Oh hell no! They added a Chicago fee.
Economists have said that that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class
Hell no,
families
they added a
in about
Chicago fee to my
$4,000
DoorDash.
more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that.
First of
Tariffs on
all,
other countries
Wait.
are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world, and the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from
It's hard for
China.
me to even, like,
In fact, they
focus on
never
what
took
he's
the
saying, 'cause
tariff
I hate him
off
so
because
much.
there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a
What is
terrible
bro
economy because
yapping about?
inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries.
Well, he's been saying this in
We have
every video I've seen
inflation
him
like
recently,
very
that
few
he's
people
going to do really
have
big
ever seen
tariffs.
before.
But
Probably
tariffs
the
don't
worst in our
equal money
nation's
in like
history.
the average
We
American
were
pocket.
at
I don't know what he's
21%.
Well, I'm gonna
That's
blow
being
my nose.
generous because many things are 50, 60, 70,
inflation is the worst
80%
in
than they
history.
were
Do you
just
ever heard
now.
of
That's
the Great
already
Recession?
like, hold
This
on.
has been a disaster
That's
for people,
already
for the
a-
middle class,
a
but
couple
for every
checks.
class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our
Well, now the
country
stream
from
is
Well, I know it is. I know sometimes the stream's gonna freeze, guys. You're gonna have to chill with me. Sometimes the stream's gonna freeze because I'm going over to the bingo board.
Occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics.
Is there like someone else in charge of the bingo
Also
board so you don't have to leave the
unions are
stream?
going to be affected
Or like
very
use your
soon.
phone?
And you see what's happening.
But I
You
need
see
it on
what's happening
screen.
with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in
You got, like, a
violently.
Texas
These are
going
the
on.
people
She's
that
playing
Xi
bingo, too.
and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying.
Yeah,
Wait, I want to try something real
They're
quick.
dangerous. They're at the highest level
What?
of criminality, and we have
Oh.
to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again.
Oh,
and
me when I
even
lie.
better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to.
Stupid bit.
Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the
Period.
Great Depression.
I
Donald
love
Trump left us
I feel
the
I love
worst
that-
public health
I love that every time
epidemic in a century.
anybody accuses
Donald
him of
Trump
anything, he just
left
does a
us
little head nod.
the
He's like,
worst attack
Yeah, he's like-
on our democracy
He's like, damn, yeah, my
since
bad.
the Civil War.
January 6th.
And
January
what we
6th.
have done
January
is
6th?
clean up Donald
Okay, that's
Trump's
one.
mess.
That's one.
What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell
Let
you
me
on
cross
this debate
these
tonight,
off.
you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed
I love her, but she
and
sounds like she
dangerous
needs a
plan
glass of
called
water right now.
Project
That's why this sounds
2025
so sick.
that the former president intends
Do they not
on
both have a
implementing
glass
if he
of
were
water? Is that
elected
not like a
again.
mandatory thing?
You know,
I
it's like a
believe very
really
strongly
like
that the American
intense, like,
people
like the
want
mic is, like,
a
turned up
president
really
who
loud.
understands the
Or she needs
importance
some water.
of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
That's
out
a-
there. I haven't read it.
Where's Project
I'm
2025?
not
Bro.
going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess some good, some bad. but it makes no difference. I have
Perfect.
nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what
Everybody
I'm doing.
knows it.
Taxes very substantially.
He's an open
We
book.
need a great economy. Like
I'm
I said
flipping through his
before,
pages.
We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic, and the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died. Has there been anything like it? We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the
A lot of
pandemic.
people died.
My life was
Nobody's
fucked.
ever seen
My life
anything
took
like
a nosedive.
We made ventilators
I didn't get
for
like
the
a
entire
good
world.
graduation
we got
from it.
gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic
That's
plan, it's all
just
about tax
straight
breaks
up.
for the richest people.
She's-
I am offering
she's
what
eating
I
him up right
describe
now.
as an
Like-
A little
opportunity
bit.
economy.
He did well.
And the best economists in our
Chat,
country, if not
I do
the
not
world,
have any
have
political
reviewed our
leans
relative
whatsoever.
plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his
Where's
economic
Jeb?
plan as something that would increase
Where is he?
inflation and by
Like-
the middle
like the
of
Minecraft
next
guy?
year would
No.
invite a recession. You just
Not
have to
the
look
Minecraft
at
character.
where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
That's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan
That's
is
just
a
a
brilliant plan.
soundbite.
It's a
They
great
told her
plan.
to
It's a
say
plan
that.
that's gonna
It's
bring up
crazy.
our worth.
That's
our
crazy.
value. It's gonna make
Oh, I need a
people
date. I need to
be
eat
able
this
go
date.
and
Go
I
eat a
didn't know it was-
date. Eat a
create
date.
jobs and create a lot of good, solid
That was
money
too good.
for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have
It's a
plan.
soundbite.
Simon,
She
I have to let you
copied
know
Biden's
that
plan, and
under
it's
your
like
stream, because I had your
4
stream pulled up on my
sentences,
phone,
like
Yeah.
one
under it
spot
was
run.
recommended to
4
me a
sentences
Shane
that are
Dawson
just,
video.
oh, we'll
A
try
what?
and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan.
Say
She
that
doesn't have
again.
a plan.
It was recommended. to what?
Mr. President, I do want
A
to drill
Shane
down on
Dawson
something you
video was
both brought
recommended
up.
to me
The
under
Vice
your
President
stream.
brought
Fuck
up,
that
your
dude. I hope he
tariffs.
dies.
You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan
He's
is
weird.
what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently
Tariffs
said
suck.
that you might double
Tariffs
your plan,
suck.
imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I charge. I
Bro,
was the
he's
only
so
president
senile.
ever. China was paying us
Second game.
hundreds of
Take a
billions
drink
of
every time
dollars,
he
and so were
mentions
other
China.
countries. And,
I was
you know,
wondering, I was
she
like, should we
doesn't
do a
like
drinking
They
game
should have
to
gone
this?
out and
Like,
they
I
should have
can't.
immediately
I'm
cut
already
the tariffs, but those
drinking.
tariffs
Just
are there
to
3.5 years now
wine. Just
under
to get me
their
through it.
administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of
Billions.
billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had
Oh,
the highest
Trump,
inflation
I'm
perhaps in the history
inflating.
of our country
I'm
because
inflating,
I've never
Trump.
seen a worse period of time.
Whoa.
People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else.
Fuck! I can't buy
People of our
bacon.
country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've
have no
destroyed the
Eggos.
economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy
It's over.
was great, that their economy was
I'm
terrible.
voting Trump
President
so I
Harris,
can
do
get
wanna
some
ask
bacon.
for your response. You heard
Unlimited
what the
bacon,
president
but
said
no
there, because the
Trump.
Biden administration did
unlimited
keep
bacon, but no
a
games.
number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and
Chips?
modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a
Did they get,
policy about China should be in making sure the
in
United
trouble if
States
they
of
interrupt
America
together?
wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing
They get timed
on
out
the
for 30
details
seconds.
of what that
Do
requires.
they
Get muted in chat,
Focusing
no.
on relationships with our allies,
That'd be really
focusing
funny.
on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up
I'm
having
still
the-
like
the
debating on
short
whether or
end of
not
the
I should
stick
put a
in
censor
terms of
bar on his
workers'
neck.
rights.
It's just
What
crazy
Donald Trump
looking.
did
It's
was
just
talk
staring
about
back
this
at me.
with
I'm
COVID,
just,
is he
hey, look,
actually
it's looking at me.
President
I'm not.
Xi for what he did during COVID.
It
Look
looked at me
his
first.
tweet. Thank you, President Xi! Exclamation point. When we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they
We
have
hardly
and
make chips
policies
anymore.
like
That's
they
why I
have.
can't
don't say
find
that
no
because she
goddamn
has some
Doritos
policy.
anymore.
Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the
They're
window.
arguing about
She's going to
chips
my
and
philosophy now. In
shit,
fact, I was gonna
man.
send her a MAGA
What is
hat.
this nation
She's
come
got
to?
my philosophy, but
Dude, I
if she ever
got some
elected, she'd
kettle cooked
change it.
chips I can
And
snack
it
on.
will be the
This is
end
I got
gonna
of
chips
fuck
right
up
here.
sound.
Some
She's a
tortilla chips.
Marxist.
Hell yeah.
Everybody knows she's a Marxist.
Everyone,
Her
what's your favorite
father's a
chip?
Marxist professor in
What are we
economics.
talking about Marxism
He
for?
taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our
She's
country,
giving off better
when you look at
reactions
these
than I could.
Millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly.
No,
whereas
she's slaying
I
right now. I'm
believe
gonna be
21
real.
million people, not the 15 that people say.
I've been
And I
waiting
think it's
for
a lot
this.
higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals.
I've been
And
on
that's
the
bad
stream.
for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our
Give 'em a
economy.
kiss.
They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were
Yeah, it
able
was the most
to
out of
kill
pocket
Roe
thing
v.
I've ever
Wade
done.
Oh, yeah, who?
last
Shut
year,
up,
and you
shut
said
up.
that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is.
She kind of ate him up with that question.
A little bit.
You worded that great.
They even have,
I
and you can
appreciate
look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current.
Wait, did
governor,
you see
doing an
that
excellent job.
that one angle
But
of him?
the
He's kind of
governor
got
before,
gamer neck.
He said the baby will be born. and
He's
we
kind
will
of leaning
decide
over
what
with
to do
gamer
the
neck.
baby. In other words, we'll
He's
execute
got to
the
work on his
baby.
posture.
And
He's
that's
got
why I did that,
unconfident
because
posture.
that predominates because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says
I
abortion
fucking
in the
hate
ninth
Tim
month
Walz, that
is
old piece of
absolutely
shit.
fine.
Her
He also
face is
says execution
great, by the
after
way.
birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something.
No one's talking
for
about babies being
52
killed
years,
after
they've
they're
been trying to
born.
get Roe v. Wade.
That's like
No,
not a
that's-
conversation.
And
That's
through
not something
the
that happens.
That's not even.
genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices.
I never.
We were
I don't think
able
I
to
can
do
think
that.
of anyone
Now, I
who's
believe
been
in
like,
the exceptions.
yeah, I want an
No.
abortion
Rape,
after my baby
incest, and
born.
life
Yeah.
of the mother.
I was gonna
I
wanna
believe
take it back.
strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative,
I just-
they all
I
wanted
don't think
this
abortion
issue to
should
be
be
brought
a
back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened.
controversy or anything.
And now, Ohio, the vote was
Ohio?
somewhat liberal.
Aw,
Kansas,
shit.
the vote
Ohio?
was somewhat
Kansas?
liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual
Shout out.
state is
He
voting.
said
It's
Kansas
the
is
vote
more
of the
liberal than
people now.
people
It's not
thought.
tied
Let
up
me
in the
tell
federal
you,
government. I
Mr.
did a
Former
great service
President,
in
that
doing
you
it.
couldn't
It
be
took
further
courage to
from
do
the
it.
truth.
And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to
You're going to hear a bunch of lies.
Holy
and
shit.
That's not actually a
It's
surprising
done.
fact.
It was settled right
Let's
there.
understand how we got
It
here.
was settled right
Donald
there.
Trump hand-selected 3
That
members of
wasn't
the
even from
United States
Kamala
Supreme
either.
Court
It was
with
just
the
from
intention
He got
they
washed by the
would
moderator. Fuck.
and they did exactly as he intended. And
That one
now
hurt.
in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it
You see a tear roll down his eye.
to provide health care in
Can that count as a biased moderator? Because I can tell people are going to get so pissed off for that.
bans that make no
They're gonna
distinction
get so-
for rape and incest.
I know it's not, but people are going to scream about
A
it being it.
survivor of a crime, a violation
For sure.
to their body
I'll put
does not have
a
the right to make
single
a decision
line
about what
through
happens
it.
to their body next. That is immoral.
I'll put a single line
One
through
does
it.
not have to abandon their faith.
Are any
or
of these
deeply held
others? Okay,
beliefs
no.
to agree. The government and Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her
Period.
body. I have
Period.
talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term.
right now.
They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections
If I were
of
him,
Roe
I'd
v.
just
Wade,
walk off.
as
It's
President of
done.
the
It's
United
already
States,
settled.
She just cooked him,
sign
absolutely.
it into law. But understand,
We're good.
if Donald Trump were
She
to be
cooked, served, and
reelected,
ate.
he will sign a national abortion ban.
Okay.
Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing
What?
a ban.
What?
There's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten
There
what
she goes
everybody
again.
wanted.
There she goes again,
Democrats,
it's a lie.
Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting, and it may take
Every
a little
legal scholar.
time, but for 52
Every single
years,
one.
What does that
this
even mean?
issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible.
Just
The
completely
states are
unrelated
now
topic.
voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken
doesn't
over
matter.
by the states.
It kind of does.
It doesn't matter, he says.
Abortion ban if it
Well,
came
I
to your
won't
desk.
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated?
tell she's trying
and it
so
ended up
hard to
being a
be
total
professional.
She's
catastrophe.
trying
But no,
so.
the student
This is a
loans
try not to
ended-
laugh
her,
challenge.
I think
Right.
probably her boss. You call him a boss. He spends all his time on the
So
beach.
funny.
But look,
Little
her boss
goofball.
went
I wanna
out
pat him on the
said,
head and
we'll
kick
do it
him in the
again. We'll
ass."
do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it
Bro,
for
what the
free.
fuck is he
But they
talking
were
about
saying
right
It's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto
Oh.
it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I did
Oh,
discuss
shit.
it with JD. In all fairness, JD, and I
going
don't
crazy.
mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking.
Who is
for
this
me,
woman?
but
I love her.
really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans.
That's
They
a
couldn't
great
get
thing to
student
run
loans.
on. We don't have
They
to
get
talk
student
about it.
loans.
You just got to
They
vote for me.
taunted young
We don't have
people
to.
and
We
all
don't have
other
to think
people that
about what I
had loans.
believe in.
They can never
You
get
just
this
gotta
approved.
vote.
So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly
That's a
mentioned,
check mark, by the way,
nowhere
right?
in America
Yeah, Roe v. Wade.
is a woman carrying
for sure.
a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
Perfect.
And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working one or two jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America
He's got
have
unconfident
not- the
posture. His
majority of
posture's
Americans
tilted
believe
down.
in
No,
women's right
he
to
has
make decisions
very
about
like
our body.
submissive. He's very
And that
like,
is why
He's submissive
in
posture.
every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have to
you.
respond. Another
said,
lie.
"Excuse me."
It's another lie.
Or
I
I'm
have been
speaking.
a leader on IVF.
Or is that
which,
one?
Which is
Yeah,
fertilization.
excuse me.
The IVF, I
It
have
is,
been
yeah.
a leader.
me, yeah.
In fact, when they got a very negative decision
And
on
I'll do this
IVF
too.
from the
Sorry, it's gonna be
Alabama
frozen for a
courts,
second, y'all.
I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in.
Understand.
I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing,
I've been a
they-
leader on
you
fertilization.
should
Is
ask.
crazy.
Is that
Will she
free
allow
IVF?
abortion in the 8th month,
On the
9th
bit-
month,
on the
7th
check.
month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her
Why-
that
why
question?
don't you
That's
answer
the
the
problem.
question, would you
Because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably
That's
after birth.
not-
Just look
No.
at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security.
rough.
We know it's an
That
issue
was
for
really rough.
Republicans,
That
Democrats,
was
voters
really
across the
rough.
board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President
like he's
Biden
just
with
talking
getting
to
to
hear
the
his own
root
voice at this
causes of
point.
migration
Yeah.
from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with
Not
a
a popcorn.
border security bill.
No,
which
what kind?
I
Was it just regular
supported.
buttered popcorn?
And that bill would have put 1,500 more
Sounds
border
so good
agents
right
on
now.
the border to help
Sounds
those
so
folks
good.
who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing
shit.
a problem.
Got him.
And understand, this comes at a
I
time
did not do that.
where the people of our country
Lie
actually
to my-
need
Excuse me,
Again.
but that's a lie
who
again.
engages
Lying
in
Kamala.
solutions,
Lion's head.
who actually addresses the problems at
Sorry,
hand.
my mic's
But
loud
what
for
we
me.
have
No,
in the
test
former
it.
president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the
Oh,
course
God.
of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter, He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies
Holy
early
shit.
out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires.
He's getting
And I'll tell
cooked.
you, I believe
He's
you
getting
deserve
cooked.
a
Let him
president who
breathe.
actually
Let
puts
him
you
breathe
first
for a
and
second.
talks to you about
Damn.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no
Completely
reason to
ignored the
go.
question, okay.
And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
No!
And showing that in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave her rallies. We have the biggest rallies.
He's
the most
paying
powerful
people to
rallies
be
in
at
the
her
history of
rallies,
politics.
he
That's
says.
because people want to take their country back.
They're AI
Our
generated.
country
There's
is
not a
being lost.
reflection
We're a
on the
failing
plane.
Nation. And it happened
Right.
3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have
What?
done to our country
Why are
by
you-
allowing
What
these
the
millions
fuck?
and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating. They're eating.
Eating the dogs.
People that live there.
eating the
What
cat.
the
And this is
fuck
what's
is he
happening in
talking
our
about?
country, and
He's
it's a
got
shame. As far as
brainworms.
the rallies are concerned, as far as
Wait,
the
Simon, can you
reason
send
they
me
go
the
is they
bingo
like
so
what I
far? What do you
say.
have on the
They
bingo so
want to
far?
bring our country back.
Of
They
what?
want to make
Of the
America.
stream?
You have on the
Very
bingo so
simple
far?
for
Hold
them.
on.
Make America great again.
He's eating the
She's
dog.
destroying this country.
He's
And if she
on the
becomes
cats in
president, this
Springfield.
country doesn't have a
What the
chance
fuck is he
of
talking
success.
about?
Not only success.
Corey,
but
what did he
being
want?
Venezuela or
I can get it for you, Corey.
Yeah,
I
do
just
that.
want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
Keep up bringing up
within the
Ohio, but
immigrant
nobody's talking about the
community.
skibidi toilet.
Let me just say
Shut the
here,
fuck
this is
up.
the
People on
this is a
television say
clear-
my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to
Is
say
the-
for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
But the
television.
people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the
so
city
say my
worried.
manager.
dog was eaten by
I took a
people that went
screenshot.
there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
Oh my god.
Talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this
They're eating the
election,
dogs.
I
They're eating the
actually have
cats.
the endorsement
Cats and dogs
of
living
200
together.
Republicans
Mass
who
hysteria.
have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member
that's
Liz
one of them.
Cheney.
Cheney mentioned.
That's
And
one of
if
them.
you want to really know
Dick Cheney.
the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of
That's
staff, a
amazing.
four-star
I'm gonna
general,
eat a date just
has said
'cause it
he has
sounds
Eat a
good.
respect for the
date. Eat a
Constitution of
date.
the United States.
Stop
His
DMing me
former
on Discord. I
national
can't
security
look.
Advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive
I'll look at what y'all seeing on my
another
phone.
Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are
Ava
not
made
being
a
addressed,
wrong
I think
prediction
the choice
about
is clear in this election.
the
President Trump, I'll
Cheneys.
give you a quick minute to respond
Yeah.
here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13
That
people.
just shows that they hired good people.
whose
Yeah.
were just
They hired
killed,
good
viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like
I'm
Esper,
grabbing some
he was
chips
no
for
good, I
this.
fired
This is
him, so he
crazy.
writes a
This-
book.
you
Another
just
one
see
writes
she's
a book,
trying so
because
hard
with
to
me,
not,
they can write
like,
books. With nobody else can they?
go
But
crazy,
They have
you know?
done such a poor job.
I see you
They
laughing
never
over there,
fire
Kamala. That's
anybody.
disrespectful
No,
as
she's literally
fuck.
like trying so hard not to laugh right now.
That's disrespectful as fuck, yo. I see you trying to laugh over
That's
there.
a good way not to have books written about you.
Just
But just to
calming,
finish,
calming.
I got more votes
Just trying to
than
keep
any
calm.
Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
That's not even true.
Let me continue
That's
on
not-
immigration.
I don't think that's
It was what
true
you
at
wanted to
all.
talk about earlier. So let's get
No,
back to
I
your
don't think
deportation
it's correct.
proposal that the vice president has reacted
yes,
to.
that's what I wanna
as
hear
well.
He's got this in the
President
bag.
Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S.
With local
military.
police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher.
They're both cutting.
What does
Both
this
the
look
judges
like?
are
Will
eating him
authorities
up
be going
too.
door to door in this
I think
area?
that everyone in this room is against
It
him.
is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it. Because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people.
The immigrants
let
have
in.
destroyed
And
the
all over
fabric
world,
of reality.
Crime is down.
They
all over
also
the world,
created
except
our
here.
country, the
Crime
immigrants,
here
by
is
the way.
up and
Yeah.
through the roof, despite their fraudulent statements that they made. Crime in this country is through the roof, and we have a
So
new
much
form of
nose
crime.
blowing
It's
today.
called migrant crime.
I'm
and
fucking
it's
sick.
happening at levels that nobody.
And I'm
thought
trying to only do it when
As
Trump
you know,
talks.
the FBI
so.
says overall violent crime
Well, I
is
wanna
actually
hear the
coming
man.
down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me.
President,
They were defrauding
Okay.
statements. They didn't.
I think it's just
include
funny to
the
have
worst
this in the background.
cities.
I don't know.
They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud. Just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich. Coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear.
That's
where
crazy.
each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ from Atlanta and
He
Fani
thinks the
Willis
forward
to
lean and the
the,
downward glance looks
Attorney
powerful,
General of New
almost
York
like a
and the DA of
Kubrick
New York.
stare,
Every
but
one
it
of
looks
those
him, it
cases.
makes him look weak
then
and submissive.
They say, oh, he's
And
a criminal.
unconfident.
They're the ones that
I think they
made
just have a
them
back
go
problem.
after me. By
No.
the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're
President Trump.
fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain
He looks like a fucking frog right
for
now.
members of our military.
What about a frog? I love
What
frogs.
it
He
would
looks like a
mean if
frog
Donald
right now.
Trump were
Like the
back
way
in
he
the
Kinda
White
does.
House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him.
Who loves
It's
kiss
up
to
to the
break 'em
American people
free?
Vice
to
President
stop
Harris,
him.
thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
Weaponized, please.
We gotta
This is the
continue
one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me.
Okay,
they
girl,
talk about
don't
democracy.
even.
I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy.
What
with
the
fake
fuck is he talking about?
Russia investigation
We have a lot to
that
get-
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't.
Oh,
You wanted
fracking!
mandatory government
Fracking!
buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign
Oh, she
says
doesn't?
you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings.
what?
Now you're taking a
Oh,
harder
and
line.
convicted
I know you
felon,
say that
and
your
convicted
values
felon.
have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
Cool.
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice
What's
President of the United
fracking,
States, and in
by the
fact,
way?
I
Oil
was
fracking,
the
bad for the
tie-breaking vote
environment.
on the Inflation
Okay.
Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have
Dude, what the
had
frack
the
is
largest
going even on right
increase
now?
in domestic
All
oil
right.
production
Okay,
in
buddy.
history because of an approach that recognizes
America,
that we
am I
cannot
right?
over-rely on foreign oil. As
They
it
hate it
relates
when
to
I
my
tell the
values, let me
truth.
tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable.
Hell
My
yeah,
work
partner.
that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare
You seem
is
biased.
based on long-standing work that I have done. Protecting
I wouldn't be
seniors'
biased.
services
I would
have
never be
not
biased on a
changed.
live stream.
And what is important is that
I
there
would
is
never
a
be
president
politically
who
biased.
actually brings values and a
I would.
perspective that is about
Hey, Trey.
lifting people up and not
Do you think
beating
Cemetery is
people
watching this
down.
debate right
And
now?
name calling. The true measure of the leader is
Um,
the
Don't
leader
comment.
who
No
actually
comment, no
understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well, first of
response?
all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father
Is
was a
first
Brooklyn
of
builder,
all-
Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was
No.
given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when
Many,
people see
many
it,
billions.
they're
Many,
even
many, many
surprised.
billions.
So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all
no.
that stuff up very wrongly,
fuck?
very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all
I was
laughing
just
at
saying
it.
shit.
She gave up
Everybody's
at least
laughing
12
at
and
it.
probably
Everyone's
14
laughing
or
at her.
15 different policies.
You're giving her
Like, She
wedgies.
was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind.
Oh, so close to I'm speaking.
Does that sound familiar?
No, that counts.
That counts.
Does that
Does it
not?
count?
That
That
sound
counts.
familiar?
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let
Does it count as
That
I'm
counts.
speaking?
That counts.
Okay.
I'm talking. I'm
speaking.
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 She went out and raised money to get him out of
He
jail.
really pulled
She
it.
did things that
Oh,
nobody
no.
would ever think of.
'Cause it was
Now
so
she wants
good.
to do
Yeah.
transgender operations on illegal
Oh,
aliens
shut
that
the-
are in prison. This is a radical left
What?
liberal that would do this. She
Liberal,
wants to confiscate your
libtard,
guns,
what
and
the
she will
fuck?
never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing so important in my opinion.
Yes.
So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over,
Rockefeller.
they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let
To
these
the
guys
moon!
go to where they were.
Roof.
I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were
How long do you
quadrupling
say
and doubling.
these
You saw what
debates
happened
usually
to
last?
gasoline. So they
90
said,
minutes.
let's go back
90
to Trump.
minutes.
But if she
They
won the
said
election the
breaks in
day after
between.
that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out.
Hell
You ever see a
yeah,
solar
let's go
plant?
back
By
to
the way, I'm a
solar.
big fan
That
of
shit's
solar.
cool.
But they take 400, 500
Yeah, let's go back to, like, riding
acres
horses
of
and stuff.
desert
That
soil.
dead air was
And
crazy.
other things
That we
for the
have to get
environment
to.
that
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which
I don't like
of
it when
course,
he
we all
words
know
it
is
like
a
that in
cornerstone of our
56 days.
democracy and the role of a president
It's coming.
in a moment
It's
of
soon.
crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told
The
your
election
supporters to march to
approaches.
the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day. The officers coming under attack.
That's one more
Aides
minute.
in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television
Yeah.
off the
Did we
Oval
already
Office.
check that? We
You
might have
did
checked
send
it
a
off.
tweet
already
Yeah.
more than 2 hours
We already
Wait,
did
which one?
January
sent out
6th.
a video
missed it.
message,
10-6.
We already
telling
did,
the
yeah,
observers
we
to
did.
go home. Is there
Which one?
anything you regret
January 6th.
about what you did on
Oh
that
yeah,
day?
weird. Yeah.
You just said a thing that isn't covered peacefully and patriotically. I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world, and crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when
ask
are those, David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle, they went into Seattle, they
These
took
judges are
over a
funny.
big percentage of
The
the city of
moderators.
Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward
Sorry.
toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on
America!
that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy
shit,
Pelosi
I'm out of my
and the
shitty,
mayor of Washington, D.C., and the
Gatorade
mayor put
wannabe.
it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by
Or
me, it
whatever
was done
you
by
wanna
others.
it's just
I
a
said,
rally.
I'd like to give
No,
you
it's not really.
10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor
the
of
fuck?
Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol
Yeah,
on
he's
January
cooked.
6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's
He's
capital.
shaking his head, but that's what it was. That's what happened.
desecrate
Literally
our
word for
nation's
word what
capital.
happened.
On that day,
It's even more over
140
than it
law
already was.
enforcement officers were
Yeah.
injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches,
Yeah.
spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? there were fine people
He
on each
kissed
side.
him on the mouth.
Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back.
She's fucking
Let's not
cooking
go back.
him
We're
on the
not going
stove,
back.
on the pan,
It's
on the
time to
rack.
turn the page.
He's burned to a
And
crisp.
if that was a bridge
No,
too far for
he's
you,
just like
well, there
sitting
is a
there letting it
place
happen. So it's kind of like
He's
our
letting
campaign
it
for
sizzle.
you to stand for country, to
I'm
stand
speaking.
for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear. On that
I just love
point,
it when he
Donald
nods
Trump,
his
the
head
candidate,
just so subtly. He's
has
like,
He just-
said in this
he has-
election there
he's
will
like-
be a bloodbath. If
he's like, damn,
this
she's
and the
right.
outcome
Like,
of this election
he's
is
literally
not to
just-
his liking. Let's
Yeah,
turn the
no.
page
He's
on this.
like-
it's
Let's
like
not go
a,
back. Let's
it's like a
chart
default
course
like
for
emote
the
when you. It's
future
it's an idol.
and not
It's an
go
idol
back to the
animation.
past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where.
What does that have to do
Also,
with
for
anything?
Charlottesville.
Right,
That story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity,
What the
Jesse,
fuck?
all of these people, they covered
What?
it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025
What do you mean
up.
debunked?
They bring all of this stuff up. I ask
What
you
does
this,
he
you talk
mean?
about-
It didn't happen.
Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing it?
That doesn't fucking. Oh my god. That's not what we're
Yeah,
talking
Simon's
about.
getting angry.
I'm getting fucking mad.
Right now, I'd like to see her go down.
You're not biased.
To Washington,
I'm not
DC
biased.
during
I don't
this
have
debate
a
'cause we're
political
wasting
lean.
A lot of time. Go down to
Lie.
because she's been
Sounds
so
like
bad.
a
It's
lot
so
of
ridiculous. Go down to
barnacles.
Washington D.C. and let her sign a
Are you
bill
like
to
a
close
toddler?
up the border because they have the
Yeah.
right to do
No,
it.
this
They're
is
the
like a
right
little
girls. They
baby.
have the right to do it. The
And
president
he
of
looks
the United
scary.
States, you'll get him out of bed. You'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that,
It
the
just
border
is
is
not
closed.
what
Mr.
they were
President,
talking about at
killing
all.
many people.
They're wanting
No,
to shut the
Jason,
fuck up.
We talked
Completely changing
immigration
the
here tonight. I
subject.
do want to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you,
Yeah,
quote,
he
didn't quite
admitted
make
it.
that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you
I said-
lost in
was that me?
I don't know.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say that.
sarcastically. You
And
know
I
that.
knew that.
He said that
Lost by a whisker.
sarcastically.
That was said sarcastically.
Oh.
Look, there's so
I
much proof.
love these
All you have to do
moderators
is look at
so
it.
very
And they
much.
should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our
That's the
elections
only
are
one
bad.
thing
And
that
a
he
lot of these
falls
illegal
onto.
immigrants
It's the
coming in,
wall.
They're trying to get them to vote.
Him and
They
his
can't
wall.
even speak
Why don't
English.
you
They
just
don't even
fuck
know
him?
what
Not really
country
the
they're
best
in
Pink Floyd
practically.
album. I don't
And these
understand
people
the
are
hype.
trying to get
I'm
them
always
to
been
vote.
a
And that's why they're
wishy-washy
allowing them to
guy.
come into our
Always
country.
been a
I did
wishy-washy
watch all of
guy.
these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them
No
Republican,
judge looked at it.
and said
They
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread fraud.
standing. That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person
What the
in an
fuck is
election
going
doesn't
on right
have
now?
standing?
He's
The
kinda
president
gamma
of the United
raging.
States
He's starting
doesn't
to
have
gamma
standing.
rage a little
That's
bit.
how
He's
we
like-
lost. If you look at the facts,
No
and I love
political lean, by the
if you
way.
Do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter.
Okay, then
because
show
we
'em.
have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have
the border.
a nation in decline. and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris.
He dressed him by his first name.
He said he didn't say that.
David.
Whisker, so he still
Our
believes
nation is
he did not lose
fucked.
the election. That
Listen
was
to
won
me,
by
man.
President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote.
I forgot how
Is
fun
that what you
these were
believe
to
he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump
No,
was
I'm having like a great old
fired by
time.
81 million people. So let's be
Get
clear about
Gage in
that.
here.
And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing
He's
that.
not interested in watching
But
it.
we
He's in his
cannot
little
afford to
room
have
gaming.
a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and
She's
world
like
leaders
Pitbull.
are laughing
He's
at
traveled
Donald
the
Trump.
world.
I have talked with
Mr. Worldwide.
military leaders,
Mr.
some
Worldwide.
who worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk
my
in
God.
this way in a presidential debate and deny what
Trump,
over
you
and
should
over again
kill
are
yourself.
court cases you have lost because you did in
Travel
fact
to
lose that
Awesomeville. They said they don't know who you are.
It leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament
This is gonna end up like
or
meet,
the ability
meet the
to not be
Trumps.
confused.
I'm waiting her
about
to
fact.
meet the Trumps
she
on
straight
it.
up called him like senile.
And the American people deserve better.
I'll give
I'm
you 1
eating a
minute to respond,
date.
Mr. President.
Let me just tell you about world
Ooh,
leaders.
how many dates have you
Viktor
eaten so
Orban,
yet
one
so
of the
far?
most
Three.
respected
My third
men.
one's
They
over.
call him a strong
damn.
man. He's a tough person.
Are we getting like a
Smart.
date count or
Prime
something?
Minister
What's,
We're getting a
what's going
date
on?
count.
They said, why is the whole world
They're taking
blowing
one
up?
like
3 years
each
ago
time
it
something
wasn't. Why
happens,
is
or
it
they just
blowing
eat
up?
He's eating dates.
He said because
I think I'm
you
just eating
need
dates.
Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him.
okay.
I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look,
What's he
Viktor
talking about?
Orban said it. He said the
The-
most respected, most
he's
feared
talking about
person is Donald Trump.
The
We had
presidential
no problems
elect
when
to
Trump was
Femboy
president.
pipeline.
But
It's
when this
real.
weak,
Trust me.
pathetic man that you saw at a
Presidential.
debate just a few
He's gonna
months
come
ago,
out of
if
this
he weren't in
and
that
he's gonna
debate,
be
he'd running
like
instead of her.
A
She got
all
femboy?
tied up.
he got
Yeah.
14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He
Presidential
hates her.
elect to
He
Heathe
can't stand her.
pipeline.
But he got
God, I can't
14
wait to
million
talk
votes.
about this
They
with
threw
my
him out.
coworkers.
She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm
President,
okay with it
Mr.
because
President, your time is
I
up.
think we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now
Yes.
to the Israel-Hamas war and the
Ooh,
hostages
okay,
who are
this is
still
good.
being
This is gonna
held,
be good.
Americans among them. Vice
Lock
President Harris,
in.
in December, you
They're
said,
gonna argue
quote,
about
"Israel
5
has a
or
right
6
to
billion
defend
to give
itself," but you
next.
added, quote, "It matters how," saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis, many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel
I mean, I don't
has a
really
right
think
to
there's a
defend
good
itself.
way to
We
be
would.
raped. I don't know if you add the word horribly.
And how it
but-
does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out.
She said
And so we
ceasefire.
will continue to work around the clock on that.
I
Work
mean,
around
Trump's
the
in the
clock,
room, so you
also
might have to like
understanding that we
do a little
must
warning that
chart
rape's
a
bad.
course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always,
Never gonna happen.
I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in
Oh
particular
my
as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I
God,
were
the
president,
subtitles are
it
so
would have
delayed.
never started.
If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know
what are you gonna tell
Putin
him?
very well,
Russia.
he would have never, and there was no threat of it
Russia.
either, by the way, for 4 years,
Is that one?
have gone into Ukraine
Yeah.
and killed
Oh,
millions of people when you add it up. Far worse
That's
than people
this is
understand what's
just
going
the
on over
this
there.
is a whole different war.
But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to
She
make
wouldn't
a very
even meet up with
important speech. She
Netspend.
refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I
Motherfucker,
believe that Israel will not
stop
exist
making her sound
within
cool.
2
She's
years
not.
from now.
No.
And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel.
Sorry, it was my
At the
alarm.
same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because
what?
the
I
whole
don't think
place
that
is going
that's-
to get blown up.
What?
Arabs, Jewish people, Israel,
What?
Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion
I'm at a
because
lo-
they took
I'm-
off all
I'm
the
lost.
sanctions that I had.
He's lost,
They
man.
had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different
Hezbollah?
spheres of
Like the
terror.
little
And they are
guy?
spheres of
No,
terror.
no.
Terror. They had no money.
What's
It
he?
was a big
What's
story,
he
and you
got
know
to
it.
do?
You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading
Hey,
that
buddy,
money
quit your
around.
yammering.
Look at what's
I love that cat.
happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah,
this
man.
would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with
Why'd he bring up
Ukraine
the
and
Rwandan
Russia
genocide,
ended.
bro?
I don't
If
know.
I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming
Just a
president.
little reference to
President
it.
Harris, he says you
We
hate
just didn't bring
Israel.
up anything
No,
else.
that's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign
Damn.
policy. It is
Damn,
well
that's crazy.
known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine.
There's footage of him
It is well
tickling
known
Putin's
that He
balls.
said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un.
Oh, hey,
And
you
it is
tickled Kim
absolutely
Jong-un's
well
balls.
that these
That is
dictators
fucking
and autocrats
crazy.
are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear.
He
they
sent
can
Kim Jong-un
manipulate
ball
you
pics.
with flattery and favors. And
That's
is why
crazy.
so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently.
The first rebuttal's
weak
gonna be,
and
I did
wrong
not
on
write love
national
letters, that's
security,
gay.
including the importance of upholding
It's gonna be something
and
about the love letter.
respecting
I
in
can tell you
highest
what.
regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins, and I think he meant it. Because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. the leaders of other countries think that they're weak
All right, man.
and incompetent,
Yeah.
and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much
I
more
like how
of
they
this
say that
historic
every
ABC
time.
News
Every time.
presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia.
Because he just rambles off about the only two things he knows how to talk about, kind
like
of.
an intermission.
There's 2 commercial breaks in between.
Will continue after this.
All right, should we debrief moments real quick? Should we debrief real quick?
Yeah.
Do you have allergies? These Flonase will help you. Sorry, I'm being the ads.
You can be the
Yeah,
ads.
allergies?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Boy, am I allergic to this tobacco.
All right, what do we think so far? I think that he's cooked.
Yeah.
I fear
A
she's
little bit.
eating him up.
A little bit.
I don't fear she's eating him up. Actually, I'm really glad she's eating him up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's doing great. Well, but except the
She-
Israel thing, I didn't like that.
No, I didn't.
like
I
that.
agree with you. I didn't like that part.
But you know, it was
Wait,
kinda
you didn't scratch off inflation blame game, by the way.
Oh, I didn't?
Nope.
Did they talk about that? Okay.
We talked
all
about
the time.
inflation, yeah, but I didn't know if it was a blaming thing or something.
I'll scratch it off. Okay. So,
yeah,
chat.
I mean, to be honest, she is doing a good job. I like that.
Chat,
And
we've got a
Donald's-
couple
I mean,
of...
Donald is classic Donald.
Yeah, Donald's just being himself. He's just talking to say words at this point. Like,
I'm glad they got a comedy act for this serious presidential.
Chat,
debate.
we've got a couple of bingos almost on the way already, it looks like. We've got one up here. They just need to bring up Hunter Biden and we're good. I don't know if at this rate we're gonna clear out the whole board since we're already like halfway into this. But we could I think it's possible that we're getting a bingo. I think it's we're there. We're there.
Isn't the second commercial break?
Another second bingo.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, never mind.
Oh, I missed the first one.
Never
this
mind.
is the first one.
This is the
You
first
have
one.
like little
Oh,
smudge.
so we're only a third through.
What's up?
You still have like 30 minutes.
You have
I
a
think.
smudge on mods accused of being unfair. I thought that
Yeah,
was
I have a
good.
smudge on there.
You got a smudge. I got confused.
Yeah. I've got a smudge on there
My big
because
brain.
wait, where the fuck are you showing?
Did they not say
where are you
Obama
showing
yet? I
that,
thought they'd
Simon?
bring up Obama already.
what's up, Corey?
Where are you showing the bingo board?
It's on his stream. It's on his
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
It's on
Who's
screen.
watching his stream right now?
No one.
I'm on it.
Oh, I'm on it too.
I'll give it a click. Oh, I see.
2 people watching.
Yeah.
Those two people are us.
Yeah. I don't have any unique viewers.
Rude.
It's just for fun, guys. It doesn't have to be that
It's
deep.
just for fun, guys. Guys, trust me. It's just for fun. I didn't expect to get more viewers, definitely, man. Yeah, no.
Who in your chat said Corey? What did
That's
I say?
that's Ava.
Ava? Oh god, what did I say for Ava to?
I don't know.
I think you just appeared.
Oh, okay. That was a long time ago. I appeared
NBC
some time
News
ago.
now. What's going up with news? Invasion.
NBC News. Let's
bad
check
shit.
General 2.
I understand that reference.
I
That
am
one's a-
Swartiverse and I am
that
here
one's a
to
good one.
report on the news.
I want to put in the quotes what Simon said about his chin flap.
Yeah. I think it looks like a pussy. A
Yeah.
little bit. Like a really big one, you know what I'm talking about?
Big bussy.
Yeah.
That's
Big
where his
pussy.
pussy is, on his neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too bad he ain't like a chronic smoker that had to like
Push the
puncture his
baseless claim about
neck.
Haitian immigrants eating dogs.
I can't believe he said it.
Crazy.
I can't believe he said it.
Funny. That was really funny.
All right, we're back.
Oh, we're back.
We're almost back.
Okay.
We are so back.
We're back with tonight's debate.
We are so
Thank you, Lester.
back.
Thank you, Lester. Big ass fucking forehead that Lester Holt.
Kind of looks like my forehead.
Sorry. No, it doesn't.
So true.
You're not
It does.
sorry. Why are you sorry? You're not sorry.
Live from the
You're not sorry. You want to smack it. You want to kiss that big old
I
forehead.
want to rub it.
You want to rub some.
Dude,
I
who's
just like the
gonna
way you
rub
said
some
that, Trey.
butter
I
on
did
his
not
forehead?
like the way you
Who's
said
gonna
that.
kiss my
You're like,
baby
you want to rub it.
Who's gonna kiss my big forehead?
I will.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty.
Oh, Russia.
Oh.
That was already
in
checked off.
we got it.
interest to do
Oh.
so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries.
I gotta lock
you
in
have said
for
you
it.
would solve this war in 24 hours. You said
Sorry,
so just
Poopy.
before the break tonight.
That's okay.
How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for
How would you
250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize.
Look at her trying not to laugh.
That being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president. Okay, they respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin. Hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect,
I tried to
what
think of
I'll
something
do
funny
is
to
I'll
say
speak
while I
to
was doing
one,
that,
I'll
but
speak
I
to the
couldn't.
other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left, I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if
Humans would
where
allow
is our
World War III. I
president?
think we all
don't
know that
even
it's
know if he's a
gonna fuck
president.
everything up.
Just to clarify
They
here.
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know.
Sorry, my
Who
mic
is
is
he,
still
a
out. I'm trying.
president?
Hold on, mute
But
myself.
we
I'm
have
trying
a
to adjust this
president
shit.
Mr. President.
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. Just to
A
clarify the
president
question,
that doesn't know he's
do
alive
you believe it's
is
in the U.S.
crazy.
best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice
Human?
President Harris.
Sorry.
I want to get your thoughts on
Human.
support for Ukraine.
I'm not gonna make fun
in
of how
this
he talks,
moment,
it's low
but
blow.
also, as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with
Yeah,
Vladimir
you're one to
Putin?
talk.
And
I'm
would it
kidding.
be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of
I
all,
kid, I
it's
kid.
important to remind the former president you're
You
not
talk
running
normally,
against Joe
Trey.
Biden, you're running against me.
Oh.
I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the
She
work that
took
I and
the
others did, we
wall.
brought 50 countries
Dude,
together.
you could
to
have met up
support
with her
Ukraine in its righteous
Poland.
defense.
Could have
And
met her.
because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition,
How
the
well is
artillery,
her
the
Polish, do you
javelins,
think?
the Abrams tanks that we have
Horrible.
provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would
Nobody
be
knows how
sitting
to
in
speak
Kyiv
that
right
language.
now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians
It looks
to
like he's
fight
about to
for
fall
their
asleep.
independence. Otherwise,
He
Putin
does.
would be sitting in
That's
Kyiv
what I said
His eyes
earlier.
closed.
on the rest
He
of
well, he
Europe,
just kind of
starting
looks
with Poland.
really
It's also-
exhausted.
It's like past his bedtime.
Americans
It's like-
right
It's
here in
past his
Pennsylvania,
bedtime.
how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Shit.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan
God.
came up in the last hour.
Fucking
I
God.
wanted her to respond to something you said earlier. And
He just got got
I'll
right
give you a minute here.
there.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow, much
Quiet,
happier than he
please.
is right now. But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was
Those
the
pussies
emissary.
were weak
They
and
sent her in to
stupid.
negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst
Ever heard of James
vice president
Buchanan?
in the
Sorry.
history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that isn't important. When I went to meet with President
Yeah, a bunch
Zelensky,
of
I
lies
met with him
coming
over
from
5
this
times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows
Check off Norm of the
understanding
North.
that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to
norm?
look out for our friends
Norm of the
and
North.
not favor our enemies
the
because
bear.
you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United
fuck,
States
I'm
is
not trying to be loud, I
commander-in-chief. And the American people
I think you're
have
doing
a
it
right
intentionally.
to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal
This is
flattery.
the most
We talked
like
about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I
Chad
do wanna talk
versus
about Afghanistan. It
Chud
came up in
comic
the first hour of this debate.
Nuclear bomb
debate
versus
ever.
nothing, baby.
This is
Said
not.
Trump did the most amazing
So
thing I've
true.
ever seen. He got
What,
these
did he just
countries,
refer to himself in the
28
third
countries at
person?
the time,
Did he?
Yes.
to pay
Oh my
out
God.
I've never seen.
He did. He
He's the
said
head of
Trump did an
NATO. He
amazing
said, "I've
job."
never seen
Here,
for
look.
years
I
we've
can
been
I can see if I can run it back real quick.
We were being
No, no,
told
no,
to
No?
pay
Okay. Damn.
pay up
Yo.
by
He's
saying
still
all the
referring to
statements you
himself in
made
the third
before.
person. What the
If
hell's
you
going
don't
on?
pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it.
He did it
He
twice.
said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will
Good
tell you, I
question.
agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying
Answer
for
it.
that endless war.
Answer that.
And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down.
He's like
He
falling
bypassed
asleep while
the
standing there.
Afghan government.
He like closes his eyes for
negotiated
like a
directly
long
with
amount of time.
a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved
He's
the
going
Taliban
into his
getting
mind
5,000
palace.
Taliban terrorists released, and
He's
get
having a
this, look
brain
at this.
blast trying to think of an argument.
And the president at the time
And it just comes back to the
invited
wall
the
every
Taliban
time.
to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them
She really struggled there.
Camp David because he does not again appreciate the
I want to know
role
what she was
and
actually about to call him.
responsibility of the president of the United States
Like
to
a-
be
just
commander
straight up
in
like
chief
a
with
slur.
level of respect.
You know, she was literally,
And
she was
this
thinking
gets
about calling
back
him like
to
something
the
bad.
point of how
Yeah.
he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America.
He's playing
around the
Civilization
world.
6 right now.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with
thank
the
you.
Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the
Snipers.
killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that
Means
because they
everything.
deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have
Abdul,
problems.
don't do
And
it.
He said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said,
No,
"You're gonna have to
don't
figure that
do
out,
it."
Abdul." And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by
Elon
Mike
think about
Pompeo.
this?
It was a very good agreement.
Oh my God,
The
I haven't
reason
even
it
checked
was
Twitter.
good,
I'm
it
going
was-
to Twitter.
We were getting out.
Oh,
we would have been out
God.
Wait, why are we
faster
going to
than
Twitter?
them,
What
but
happened?
we
What
wouldn't
I
have
missed?
lost the
Just
soldiers.
no, in
We wouldn't have
general.
left
Yes,
many
you're
Americans
watching this.
behind, and we wouldn't have left. We wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move
And
on.
these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my
wanna move
opinion,
on.
the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
No.
Oh,
I want
No
to move
way
on to
you
recent
said that.
politics
No
in this
way you
country.
said
Mr.
that.
President, you recently
What
said of
the
Vice President Harris,
fuck?
quote, I didn't know
No
she was
way, you
black
just
until
fucking
she was
wasn't
born
listening.
black,
What did he say?
but
Wait,
she
after
happened
read
to
the-
turn black,
because
and
they
now she
saw
wants
him.
to be known as black. I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight.
Oh my
Why do you
God.
believe it's
No
appropriate
way.
to weigh in on the racial identity of your
He
opponent?
said the
I don't,
pullout of
and I don't care.
Afghanistan is the
I don't
reason
care what
Ukraine
she
got
is.
attacked.
I don't care.
That's crazy.
You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words,
Oh,
so I'm
I don't
asking.
know. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your
It's
thoughts on
up
this?
to her. Either one, it's fine to me.
I think it's.
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
Honestly, I think it's
I'm just saying.
a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority
called it
of
a
us know that we
tragedy.
have so much more in
That's
common than what separates us, and we
crazy.
don't want
An American
this
tragedy up
kind
there
of
with like Pearl
approach that is
Harbor
just
and
constantly
9/11.
trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was a land. He owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to
No,
rent
she's like destroying him
property
right now.
to black families. Let's remember, this is the same
Even,
individual
like, the moderators
who
are, like,
took out a
you know,
full-page ad in the New York Times calling for
Like,
the execution of
Come here, come and watch the last
young
like
black
7
and
minutes.
Latino boys who were innocent,
Yeah.
the Central Park Five.
Here, unplug it, and then you can listen to it with us.
Took out a
Gage is
full-page
here now,
ad
so.
calling for their execution.
Hi,
This is
Gage.
the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want
I remember
better
that,
than
yeah.
that. Want better than this. Want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that
It looked
regardless
like it.
of people's
yo.
color or the language
Yeah.
their grandmother speaks, we all have
It
the
looked
same
like
dreams
Yeah.
and
it looked like
aspirations
in the
and
first,
want a
like,
president
10
who
minutes.
invests in those, not in hate and division.
Oh, wow.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your third time.
is a joke for the orange man?
This is the most
Good
divisive
struggle for the
Oh,
orange
this is-
man, yeah.
This is
in the
fucking
history of our
hilarious.
country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she
Kamala
just
Harris.
said. Going back many, many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park Five, they admitted, they said
Because of
they
her.
pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies
No, literally
in the
not even
history
talking
of
about the subject
world,
anymore.
and I'm
Not
gonna build it
even.
again.
That's what
It's
he's
gonna
been
be bigger,
doing.
better and stronger.
So
They're
much. I think
destroying
every
our
single
economy.
time.
They
Almost
have
every
no
single
idea
time.
what a good
He, like,
economy is.
brought up something else.
Their
That's-
oil
that's
policies,
all he
every
knows.
single policy.
Dude, he's
And
getting
remember
almost
this,
as bad as Biden.
she is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman.
is
She says
Biden.
she is Biden.
She is
the
Biden.
worst inflation we've ever had.
Oh, I'm
Global economy,
inflating.
because inflation has made
Like,
it so
look at her,
bad
like, girl boss
that she
face.
can't get
and
away
then
with that.
Thank you. Your time's up.
That is just Kamala
Briefly.
Brat.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly.
I am not Joe Biden.
And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the
No,
American
he literally looks like he's about to fall
I
asleep.
believe in what
Yeah,
we
he's
can do
done.
to strengthen
No,
our small
he got
businesses,
so-
which is why I
he
have
got
a plan. Let's talk about
blamed.
our plans and let's compare the plans. I have
You and
a
the
plan
moderators.
to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction to pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering
Trump, I'm looking at your stream. Why are you trying not to laugh?
No, she just, like, that's just going and going, like,
buyers.
it's great.
That's the kind of conversation I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name calling. Let's turn the page
Vice President
and move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President
Let's turn
Trump,
back
we
to
have
policy.
to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
To defund the police. She has a plan
Yeah, they've
to
been doing all night.
confiscate
Yeah,
everybody's guns.
President Trump,
She
you
has
have
a
to
plan
move on
to
to
not
other
allow
Ex-president takes
fracking
too
in
long.
Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay.
That's what her plan is
Man,
until
it's
just
just-
recently.
I just think
Why wasn't he talking about this when fracking was brought up?
No, I'm sorry. We're
He was talking
gonna
about some other bullshit when fracking got brought up, and now he wants to talk about
Your
it.
third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and
Jesus
replace the
Christ.
Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now
That
say
was
you're going
rough.
to keep Obamacare,
That was a rough
quote,
moment.
unless we can do something
I didn't
much
even
better.
hear it. There's too many
Last
people
month,
talking
you
at
said,
once.
quote,
Yeah,
we're
no one
working
got a
on
pipe
it.
down.
So
No.
tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care. Always was. It's not very good today.
Obama.
And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this. I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't
I am
change it. They
Obamacare.
wouldn't vote for it.
I am
They wouldn't
Obamacare.
have
We're gonna
vote
fix
to change
Obamacare.
it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up, they wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make
We
it as
beat
good as it can be?
Medicare.
Never gonna be great. Or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people.
Very
in this
good people.
administration.
A lot of good people.
We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost
He looks
our
so like
people,
old
our
and tired and
population
exhausted,
less money,
and
it'd
she's
be
still
better
slaying.
healthcare than Obamacare, then I would absolutely
He's
do
mewing.
it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
Have concepts of a
If
These
plan.
concepts.
we come up with something.
He has
Crazy.
concepts.
If we come up with
Do
something
you have a
that's
plan?
better
I
and
have
less
concepts of a
expensive, and
plan.
there are concepts
I have a
and
very rough
options
idea.
We have to do that, and you'll be hearing about it in
Bro
the not
said,
too
I
distant
have
future.
Vice
concepts of a
President
plan.
Harris, in
How is it
2017, you
right?
supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run
she.
healthcare
This
system.
moderator.
2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option.
him.
What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history.
Yeah, no one's
know
trying
where
to take
people
any
stand.
guns away.
When Donald Trump
That's like
was
just
No.
not a
It
thing.
doesn't have to be
60
all or
times
nothing.
He
Like,
tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged as being, you don't like him, you said at the time, because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor,
Yeah, he's getting.
if a grandparent had diabetes, and thankfully,
He's getting fucking
as
wiped
I've been
down.
vice president, and we, over the last
nodding.
4 years,
Yeah.
have strengthened the Affordable Care Act. We have allowed, for the first time, Medicare to negotiate
It's
drug
like
prices.
I almost
on
want her to
behalf of
chill
you,
out a
the
little
American
bit.
people.
It's
Donald Trump said he was
painful.
going to allow Medicare to negotiate
She's doing
prices.
great.
She's
Joe
doing
Biden,
great,
He never
yeah.
did. We did.
She's doing
And
really
now we have
good.
capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that the value I bring to this is that
Guys,
access to
I'll admit
healthcare
something.
should be a
I
right
might
and
be.
not
I
just
might have a
privilege of
political
those who
lean in
can
this
afford it.
stream.
And the plan has to be.
I think
to
it's about time I
strengthen
come
the
clean.
Affordable Care Act,
I
not
think
get
I
rid of
have
it.
a political
That's
lean.
just
President
prologue
Harris,
in
thank
terms
you.
I
of
think
where
I
Donald
do.
Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for
You
a lot
made
of
a
people.
mistake. Number one,
I'm voting for
China
birthday
took away
party.
Obamacare
Jeb,
for 10 years.
Kanye.
But it wasn't only him. It was all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what?
Who's voting for
We can do
Kanye?
much better than Obamacare. Much less money. But she
Who's voting for Kanye?
for people.
Does
Private
Obamacare
medical insurance.
count as
That's
an
another
Obama
thing she
square?
doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance.
Does it what?
That have worked hard.
Does it count as the Obama square?
She
Obamacare?
wants everybody to be on government insurance.
Oh, wait, let me check. Hold on. This screen's gonna pause for a second.
President Trump, thank you. We have
Yeah,
another issue
that
we'd
counts
like
as
to
the
get to
Obama
that's
square.
important
Yeah.
for a number of
I'm gonna check
Americans,
that
in
off.
particular younger voters
All right,
who
the
need
stream
change.
resumes.
President Trump, with regard to the environment, you
What's
say
up? Welcome to
we
the
have
chat.
to have clean air and clean water. Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would
Stop
you do
doing that,
to
Mouse.
fight climate
Damn.
change? And Vice President
Wait, I wanna
Harris,
hear
we'll
this.
start with you. 1 minute for you each.
Well, the former president had said the climate change is a hoax. And what we know is
Right
that
off
it
the
is
bat.
very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home.
I'm very
having
curious as to
nowhere
hear what he's
go.
gonna say about
we
this.
know that we can actually deal with
Nuh-uh.
this issue. The young people of
What's 9
America
plus
care
10?
deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy, while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels. We have created
Trillion's a
over
lot of
800,000
goddamn
new
money.
manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening up factories around the world.
Then
Donald
someone said
Trump
he has
said
like
he
that
was going to
gamer
create
pose.
manufacturing jobs.
What's it, Corey?
He lost
What do you
manufacturing
say?
You have that gamer
and I'm
pose
also
from the
proud
side
to have
angle.
the endorsement of the United Auto Workers
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes growing what we can do around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs this last
I was
month.
right. You did say
It's
nuh-uh.
going- They're all leaving. They're building big auto plants in Mexico, in many cases owned by China. They're building these
They're owned by
massive
China.
plants, and they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those
I'm
cars
like
so
half
they can't
expecting
come
him
in.
to just start coughing up
They will
blood.
kill the
He's
United
gonna
Auto
start coughing
Workers
up
and
blood
any
all
auto
over
worker,
this,
whether it's
all
in
over the
Detroit
podium.
or South Carolina or
He needs to,
any
like,
other
foam
place.
at the mouth.
What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing because they refuse. You know,
Horrible.
Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine. They
That's
get all
Hunter
this money
Biden.
From all of these different countries.
Holy
And then you
shit.
wonder, why is he so loyal
He's
to
at his
this
son's.
when Ukraine,
That's a
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a bingo on the board for the presidential debate. Ladies and gentlemen, we
This
did
is a
it.
crooked
You think he's on
administration,
Adderall?
and they're selling it to
President Trump, thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night this ABC
Did you
News
say you think he's
presidential
on
debate
Adderall?
From Philadelphia.
That's bingo, baby.
That's
I
a
wish I
You don't
bingo.
have to watch anymore. It's over.
We don't have to what? Well, let's finish this one out
What
strong.
are our thoughts?
Wait, is it over?
No, they're on our second commercial break. The second and last.
Oh, I can't keep. I gotta go to bed, man.
All right.
Good night, Corey.
Good night, Corey.
Let me know how the rest goes. I'll probably hear more about it tonight. Yeah, I have to.
Oh, there's
go to
no way you
work
are.
early today.
Yeah, it's gonna be the
Very good
only
point.
thing you hear about ever
Could not understand what he was saying. That part.
of all time.
Hope you enjoy this stream because you're gonna be seeing clips of it for a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they
Damn it.
put in like nice new age music to calm you down.
Yeah, because this shit is stressful.
Stressful.
Stressful. Embarrassing. 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 Damn. Debate. It's a funny word when you say it.
No.
God. What I would
Well,
do to
just
see
about,
what I would do to see a Mr. Frog cameo on
That's
stage.
him right there.
That's him? That's him right there.
Look at that pin on his thing. That's totally Mr. Frog.
Oh my god, that is Mr. Frog. And these are the Renaissance men.
What are the Renaissance men?
That when
Dude, I
that's,
don't even know.
that's not even Renaissance. That's from just a different time period altogether. That's not even Renaissance. Man, I don't give a shit about this news. How's everyone's day going so far? Is everyone feeling good?
Yes.
You know, is everyone doing good with the debate? You know,
My stomach hurts.
your stomach. Did you eat too much popcorn?
The
Too
dates
many
got
This
to
debate
bro.
has
popcorn?
been like,
And 3 dates.
3 days.
I don't know. This debate has been just really funny.
Yeah.
It has.
This is really funny. I'm not really stressed.
I'm not stressed at all. I'm chilling.
Yeah, no, I'm not chilling. I'm just trying to like take in all their points and stuff. And
Yeah.
just laugh at the orange man. Cause
There's
he's actually, like,
toxic metals in tampons? How does the
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
What the-
news. I mean, it is news.
what the fuck? Why are they putting mercury in tampons?
Oh my god. Oh,
This is
cool.
delicious.
That looks like solar plexus
scary.
clown glider.
Is that the Joker?
That looks like the clown glider.
Is that the?
I'm
Okay.
a Joker,
Serious
baby.
question. Serious question though. Like, I could not understand what Trump was talking about. Like that last part. Like,
Oh, none of it. No, it's incomprehensible.
Oh, you didn't understand it?
no. Like,
Oh, well,
I know he talked about Hunter Biden and was
yeah. He was
blaming the Bidens for like automobiles. That's what I got.
Bro, this debate is kind of like, we the out of here.
This makes me want to watch election night. I was worried about watching it before, but now I might watch it just because
Yeah.
I won't be as stressed.
Everybody go
what's
vote.
election night?
Huh?
Especially if you're in a
Election
swing
night?
state.
Yeah, like watching the states come in and shit. I
Oh,
wasn't gonna
yeah,
watch
yeah.
it. I wasn't gonna watch it at first because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I
It's so
never
stressful.
watched it because that's actually really stressful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, Kamala is
Now I might be
so
less stressed
rad.
after this.
Kendall Roy, don't fuck this up.
Yeah,
So-
it's just kind of like, yeah, Trump's instead of debating Biden, he's debating someone that's actually good at debating. So,
He's debating someone who's not 80 years old.
yeah.
Like it'll be
Granted, they're
as long as,
59, but
as
still,
long as her
it's
brain,
like-
as long as her brain doesn't like snap in the
Ooh.
last 20 minutes, and she ends up going, the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Guys, I predict her brain's gonna snap and she's just gonna start singing kid songs.
Back tonight, the time has come for closing statements. Vice President Harris, we begin with you.
There's like a 20% chance.
She's gonna start singing her ABCs. The Angel of Death.
I might join here in a bit.
Okay.
And the other that is focused on the
Oh, let me turn this up.
and an
Shit.
attempt to take us backward.
Thank you.
Oh.
But we're not going back. And I do believe that the American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations,
I want
the
the bar go
dreams,
down. Go
the
down.
hopes, the ambition of the
Stop moving your
American
mouth.
people, which is why I
I've been
intend
moving.
to
Hold on. Let
create
me.
an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses,
that.
in new families, in what we can do around
There we go.
protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together.
I
That is about
believe.
sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves
Hell
first.
no,
I intend to be a president for all
that's
Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
Vice President Harris,
What do you got to say for
thank you.
yourself?
President Trump.
I didn't.
So she
Drew
just
Barrymore
started
said
by
that. I was
saying
just quoting
she's
her.
going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All
Yeah,
over
failing
the world,
nation.
I know
Make
the leaders
America
very
great
well.
again.
They're coming to see me.
Hell
they
yeah.
call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're
In the
going to
Middle
end up in a
East.
third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear
I don't think
weapons,
that's
the
true
power
at
of
all.
weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is
What is he
allowing
talking about?
millions
We
of
made the whole
people
military.
to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're
What is he
destroying
on
our
about?
country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Bro is
President
on
Trump,
to
thank you.
nothing.
And that is our ABC
I don't
News
think he could
presidential
name
debate from
5
here in
presidents
Philadelphia
or
at the National
even 3 vice
Constitution Center.
presidents.
I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank
That's
you for
how they
watching
end
here in
it?
the US
Just
and
a whole
all
lot
over
of
the world, and
nothing?
from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
Wait, that's it? What
That's
the fuck is the
it?
point of Why'd they put a break for 3 minutes
And
after?
welcome back to NBC News coverage.
hold
of
on.
the debate.
Yeah.
Don't pick your adjective. I would go with fiery to begin, but it goes from there. Both the candidates, you could argue, executing on their strategy going in for Kamala Harris, that was to get under the former president's skin, which she did quite often. For the former president, his option was, of course, to go after the economy, after Afghanistan, the administration's position on the withdrawal in Afghanistan, and immigration, of course. This is exactly what they wanted. The question is how they got there, and along the way, I think.
Well, people are going to be talking about this debate for a long time. And is this the final debate? Is this the only one we're going to see? Will there be another? Well, it depends on how each candidate feels they did tonight. Let's
Wow,
bring back
that
the
was-
moderator, Meet the Press, Krista Welker, our senior
I love how the
Washington
ending of
correspondent,
that
Hallie Jackson. Boy, do
was
we have a
her
lot to do
saying,
over here.
I'll be a good president, and he said, nuh-uh, and didn't claim anything for himself. He just said, nuh-uh.
To try to get
Yeah.
Donald Trump to respond
Well-
to her. And
How do we feel about that?
kind of fall
How
Fine.
do we feel?
That's how I feel.
I feel like doing chingy on the block.
He said, He said, He said, what now? He said, huh?
Why
Ken?
weren't you using the NBC chat
Huh, for what?
to talk to people?
What do you mean? What do you mean? That was quite something. That was quite something. I feel like we've got a clear view as to what's about to go down these next couple of weeks or so. I think I see the vision. Tell the vision like Kanye. Kanye and Pop Smoke tell the vision. And now all I'm going to say is if I was up on that stage, I would have watched both of them.
Window.
I would have watched the
Seven
both
for
of them.
president.
Vote me for president because I'll legalize fucking everything.
Vote for me because I get demands.
You know you're Canadian. Don't vote for him. He's Canadian.
Can't even be president.
Can't
bro.
even. You're not an You're not a United States citizen.
I snuck in.
You did not sneak. You're an immigrant, bro. Trump hates you. Wow.
And I'm taking over. I'm taking my spot.
Holy shit, Trey likes bands is in my chat. I love that guy.
I hate that guy.
That's him. Yeah. That's him. For real. Well, with the debate being over, that probably means the stream is about to come to a close.
I'm telling you right now. A
Yeah.
Canadian immigrant is coming to your White House and taking over your country. I'm gonna be a dictator.
Alright, I'm telling Biden that. I got him on speed dial. I'm like, hey, someone's trying to January 6th y'all again, but it's just one Canadian boy.
I'm overthrowing the American government.
With what? What's your strategy? I want to hear it before I end stream.
First, I dress like Tobey Maguire.
Uh-huh. Just like as the man or in like a specific role?
Then I got bombs strapped to my chest.
Cool. Just not... Yeah. Okay, cool.
Bombs attached to
And
the
that's
frame.
when... That's how
Oh
we're
my
gonna...
God.
That's
Detonate
how...
everything.
That's how we're gonna end stream.
Well,
Thank you
well,
guys
leaving me
so
in.
much. Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. If you guys stayed, that was awesome, fun time. I will see you guys all next stream. The next stream is gonna be a usual Persona stream.
Tobey
I'm
Maguire
just
got
changing
bit
it
by
up
a
a
spider 'cause
bit.
it was
Changing
a
it
dope.
up a bit because I'm gonna be the next Hassan, guys. I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be the next
next
big political streamer that either you love or you hate. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. No, it's not.
It's gonna be me.
I don't know.
What is your
shit
stance on
about-
Hawk Tuah?
My stance on Hawk Tuah.
Make it president.
Make her president. She's my president. I'm I'm gonna go into like vote and I'm just gonna write Hawk Tuah in everything. In Sharpie. In Sharpie. Alright. I really wish I didn't say that. That was
Can
awful.
you imagine how many Hawk Tuah jokes Hillary would be making if she was running right now?
I don't know if she'd...
They probably
That's
avoid sex.
Yeah, it's like a sex joke. She wouldn't. Alright, I'm ending